As you are all aware, Atlanta's hip-hop and love scene never remains silent for very long. Everyone is sitting up straight, though, because of what's currently seething beneath the surface. The situation has gotten 10 times messier just when fans thought Season 13 was going to cool off. It's time Bambi, Spice, and Rashida aren't the main emphasis. Erica, Mena, and Kay from Yandy Confronts are directly in the midst of the storm. Listen up. There have been rumors around, social media fan comments, whispers in Atlanta streets, and claims that Erica Mena made off. Reignited past conflict suggests that she and Mendes were involved in more than just Yandy sis isn't having any of this informal chatter. She is shown confronting Mendes in the trailer for the upcoming episode. Her voice trembles as if she's seriously wondering if her partner is concealing something. This is where it becomes even crazier, though. This wasn't discussed much in episode 1. Is this the lull before the storm, everyone asks now? Is that trailer merely the first fracture in the whole thing? No one is verifying anything, but there is no denying the tension and electricity. Doesn't appear to be a straightforward misunderstanding, so stay focused. It all began on a calm night in Atlanta. It was the kind of night when buried anxieties and unsaid words filled the air. With back-to-back charity events, family meals, and business meetings, Yandy had been having a lot lately and needed a break. She kicked off her heels, grabbed her phone, and sat down on the soft couch. Before it became a nightmare tonight, scrolling through notifications had been a sort of guilty enjoyment. She hadn't even seen the promo clip yet, but fans started tagging her in it. She tapped on the link while her heart pounded in her chest. A hazy clip from the next episode flashed on the screen. The quiet was broken by the smooth yet poisonous voice of Erica Mena. When Erica stated, "Everyone's acting like Mendes didn't call me late at night," her tone was uncannily serene. Then Yandy froze and said, "But I've got receipts." Receipts? Why, after everything they'd been through, was Erica bringing up old rumors now? Her thoughts rushed back to unpleasant recollections, late-night arguments, the media circus, and the pain of betrayal suspicions that had once threatened to destroy her family. Years had gone by since the worst of it, but it felt like yesterday. She played the video again, paying particular attention to Erica's smile. The sharpness of their statements was undeniable. Yandy felt a chilly knot form in her gut as she sat in the light from her living room lamp. This was no longer merely for amusement. Her life was on exhibit. She inhaled deeply and made an effort to ignore it. Just a plot, she told herself in a whisper. Drama is necessary to maintain viewership. A voice in her stomach, however, warned her that ignoring it would not make it go away. He arrived at the front door with proof copies of his most recent memoir 20 minutes later. Humming gently, he flung his keys onto the console table. Yandy failed to welcome him. Rather, she raised her phone. That identical trailer glowed. On the screen, "What is this?" With a somewhat trembling voice, she asked. His eyes narrowed as he looked down. With a wary tone, he inquired, "Did you see yet? You tell me?" was her response. Mendy exhaled deeply and walked across to the kitchen. After pouring a glass of water for himself, he turned back to her. Crave attention. Don't bother her. You're implying that she is lying." Yandy crossed her arms over her chest. "Or you're acknowledging that you were late at night. I called her." The jaw tightened. "I'm not confessing anything. She managed to incorporate my name into her scene." Yandy sensed the tilt of the room. However, why now? Why all this time? He took a swallow. "I'm not sure. Perhaps she was asked to stir things up by the producers." Feeling more confused than ever, she shook her head. "The show is not as important as trust and respect. Do you understand?" He furrowed his brow. "I do, of course. I haven't spoken to her in months, believe me. So why do I think you're keeping something from me?" Her voice was no less fierce, yet it was gentler now as she pressed. DC Men didn't respond. Rather, he looked up at the ceiling. Between them, there was a dense silence that was difficult to breathe. At last, Yandy put on her shoes and slammed her phone onto the couch. I need to breathe. The steamy breeze outside didn't do much to quench her raging thoughts. She walked down her driveway, reliving all the private exchanges she had had with Mendeecees in the previous weeks. There seemed to be nothing unusual. They had been content, sending positive affirmations in the morning, organizing vacations, and exchanging late-night giggles. Everything had altered because of this clip. She called her ride-or-die friend from college, Kendra. Kendra answered with her usual warmth after a few rings. Yandy yelled, "What's up, Queen? I need you." They now met in a peaceful nook. Kendra said that a table in a nearby bistro was off the grid. Yandy slipped into the booth, fatigue rimming. Her eyes, Kendra scowled as she slid onto the seat across from her. Leak, Yandy hit her phone's play button. As Erica's words filled the room, Kendra's expression darkened. Kendra leaned back when it was over. "That's harsh, girl. It's worse." Kendra sensed the hurt that was not spoken when Yandy said, "People are already believing it." "What are you interested in doing?" Yandandy's hands clenched. "I'm looking for answers. She needs to give me an explanation for why she is ruining my marriage." Kendra gave a slow nod. However, speaking with Erica can backfire. She uses words skillfully. "I understand," Yandy said. "However, I can't just let this define who I am." Yandy's phone buzzed once more while they were brainstorming. Her heart sank as she looked at it. The video was captioned on another fan page. "Yes, marriage is in jeopardy. Watch what Erica has to say." She texted Mondays, "We need to chat." He replied with a single question mark. Later that evening, Yandy returned home to find Mendeecees waiting by the door. His expression was guarded. "Let me explain," he began. Before she could speak, she cut him off. "First, I need to know the truth. Have you ever given Erica a late-night call?" He paused, his skin quivering with tension. Yandy did not speak. Reality hit them like a stone as he continued. "I spoke to her once after her last show. She seemed upset, called to clear the air. That was it." Yandy had tears welling up in her eyes. Confusion, rage, and relief are all intertwined. "How come you didn't tell me?" "I knew his hair would spiral, so he ran a hand through it. I assumed it was finished." Her voice trembled as she shook her head. "It's not just about her here. It's about our foundation, about us." Mendeecees looked away. "You're correct. I ought to have informed you." Yandy rubbed her temples and let out a breath. "The narrative must be within our control. Not edits and clips will control us." With eager eyes, he nodded. "You want me to do what?" Yandy fixed him with a determined gaze, getting settled. "We confront this directly. Together, we speak with Erica. On camera, we obtain clarity." Mendeecees gave a feeble smile. "I agree with you." It felt excellent, powerful even, that plan. However, Yandy knew in her heart that contacting Erica was dangerous. She recalled that Prepared to Back Down was different, though. This feud wasn't personal. The spectacle was open to the public. Cameras followed Mendeecees and Yandy a few days later. Erica was waiting in a fancy studio with lights, microphones, and producers in the backdrop when they pulled up. Seemed unreal. Erica smiled tightly as she greeted them. The spark in Yandy's eyes was caught. Was it disobedience, guilt, or another factor? Facing one another, they sat in comfortable chairs. Before Erica cleared her throat, there was a long pause. "Yandy, I'm sorry if I offended you. However, you must comprehend what I say to have been manipulated." Yandy's eyebrow went up. "How was it manipulated?" Erica bent over. "I was asked to make a startling statement. Was meant to generate excitement. I didn't mean to do you any personal harm." But Yandy felt a glimmer of calm for the first time in weeks. They had confronted the storm directly. They had survived the initial hit, but the aftershocks would be terrible. She knew they were prepared for whatever came next as she looked at Mendeecees in the passenger seat. The impact of the recent events weighed heavily on Yandy's chest as they left the studio lot. As she tried to take in all Erica had just said, the skyline of Atlanta flickered by the car windows. Mendeecees looked at her, his face displaying a mixture of fatigue and relief. Whispering, "We did it." He reached for her hand. Yandy resisted, but her thoughts were more rapid than the lights of the metropolis outside. Their phones buzzed together. Inside the car, social media is overflowing with notifications. Fan pages that analyze every moment of the altercation. Blogs have already begun to speculate on the identity of the villain and the true victim. Mendeecees gently tapped Yandy's hand away as her thumb lingered over the home button, luring her into the battle. "Not yet," he muttered. "First, let's take a breath." She nodded, exhaling. Before she spoke again, the silence was filled with the buzz of the engine. "Are you convinced by her?" He hesitated, picking his words wisely. "Parts of what?" She said, "I believe." She acknowledged embellishing for ratings, though that's the reality. Yandy gazed at the highway, her anguish reflected in the lights. "What should we do with that then?" He turned, his gaze gentle but resolute. We don't act as though it never happened. All right, our story is told in style." Later that evening, they decided to issue a unified statement. Just enough unvarnished and unadulterated content to correct the record without adding to the drama machine. Producers, meanwhile, were already phoning, keen to include this information in the upcoming program. Yandy insisted on complete openness. Despite the temptation to edit a scene, there was silence when they got home. The house was a haven, unaffected by the cameras, with the children sleeping and the doors locked. Yandy leaned against the front door and closed her eyes. Mendeecees put his chin on her shoulder and encircled her with his arms from behind. He said, "We'll figure this out." After the stress of the day, she nodded and leaned into him, allowing the calm of their house to center her. The house felt different. In the morning, windows let in sunlight, yet the customary coziness was tinged with anxiety. Yandy went about her daily brief workout with coffee, responding to a few texts from pals who were encouraging, always half expecting to receive another allegation or rumor in her inbox. Before she could check the news, she had to steel herself. The office in Mendeecees' house. A close producer friend was already on the phone with him. As they spoke, the second episode's script was being revised. The producer stated that they must witness the admission and the apology. While fans desire drama, they also want closure. If the two are balanced, ratings will rise. Mendeecees gave him a temple rub. Yandy is looking for genuineness. In addition to apologizing, we'll also illustrate how we handled the situation right after the drive home. The producer chuckled. "Be real. You run the risk of becoming emotionally vulnerable. It's a bold move, but people relate to it." The statement was taped in the living room of Yandy M and Mendeecees downstairs. Sitting side by side on the couch in unprocessed lighting with little makeup, Yandy started out with a faint tremor in her voice. "We're certain you've seen the video. We wanted to confront it head-on, even though it was difficult to watch." In actuality, the conversation was never the affair, but it did happen. Erica recommended. Mendeecees added his voice. "We can appreciate your confusion or hurt." We were too, but the only way to proceed was to talk it out. Using hashtags like #TruthHurts and #FamilyFirst, they shared it on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and any other platform they could find. The comments were pouring in within minutes. Many commended their candor, commended Mendeecees for acknowledging he had concealed the call, and commended Yandy for refusing to back down. Others accused them of planning a publicity stunt and chastised them for sharing too much. Yandy stopped scrolling after reading a comment from a fan she looked up to. She gave herself a little smile before putting her phone down, saying, "This is real love. Haters will hate, but true supporters see the whole picture." Later that day, she received a call from Rashida. Rashida's tone was both interested and compassionate. Yandy chuckled quietly and said, "Girl, I saw what you posted online. You've been through fire. I'm proud of you. Regards, sis." Seems correct, yet it's a disaster. Rashidita was unsure. "Jessica is reportedly inviting you to her retreat the following week. She claims to have something planned that might make things plain for everyone." The idea of more cast drama made Yandy's heart sink. "I'm not sure if I'm prepared to confront everyone just yet." "Rashida," I laughed. "You'll deal with it as usual. Grace and truth." Another surprise came in the afternoon when a fan page posted a behind-the-scenes video of Erica at the studio. She spoke into her phone with tears in her eyes. Erica stated in the video, "I didn't mean to hurt Yandy. However, producers misrepresented my statements and made me seem aloof. It makes me feel ill." The story became more complicated as a result of the leak, which sparked a wave of compassion for Erica. Yandy observed the video, her compassion wearing with her annoyance. To unwind, Yandy threw a little supper for her family and close friends that evening. It was a small table. Rashida, Kendra, her sister Coelia, and Mendez. They toasted 2 better days ahead, laughed over takeaway, and made jokes about how ridiculous reality TV is. The subject of Erica and the retreat, however, lingered unsaid. Beneath the laughs, a dot. Coelia drew Yandy away after dinner. "Yandy, you need to keep your peace. Avoid being enmeshed in her drama again." Thankful for the reminder, Yandy nodded. "I feel like I owe it to the truth, but I'm trying." Mendez put an arm around them and joined them. Yandy's waist, he said softly, "I'm proud of you. Together, we are in this." She rested her head on his shoulder, allowing the comfort of home to relieve some of the stress. Erica Mena, meanwhile, was pacing apartment across Atlanta, reliving the day's happenings. She had been caught off guard when her apology video leaked, and she was experiencing conflicting feelings of guilt for the hurt she had caused. Had been presented, reaching for her phone, she typed a message to her boss. "My reputation must be saved. Jessica and I would also like to sit down. All of us are venting. I want to make my point known." Determined to take charge of the A. Returning to Yandy's house. That evening, the show's second episode aired. Her and Mendeecees' statement was caught on camera. The altercation in the studio. The apology that was leaked. The unadulterated emotion captivated the audience. Reaction? Videos flooded social media. Podcasts that analyze everything. Celebrities' opinions. One of the most popular hashtags was #Mendeecees. Yandy sat on her couch and watched the episode play out. DC's next to her holding hands. Fans kept reposting the video, which at one point showed her eyes welling with tears as she remarked, "I deserved to know the truth." She turned to Mendez once the credits rolled. He nodded and asked, "Did that feel like us?" They captured both the good and the messy sides of us. Exhaustion, mixed with relief, as she let out a breath. Perhaps folks needed to see this safeguard their families. We can now begin anew after he kissed her forehead. However, her phone buzzed once more as they were getting comfortable. A producer's direct message hinted at an unexpected turn in the upcoming episode. Unexpected partnerships would emerge from Jessica's healing vacation. Rekindled old feuds and possibly a new target in their drama. One particular cast member felt left out. Yandy's heart was racing as she gazed at the TV. Peace was short. She knew. Mendez was already reading the message when she glanced at him. They looked at each other knowingly. The truth was never the end in their universe. She intended to deliver a message. Before they went, Mendez dragged her clothing on in spite of everything. He kissed her forehead and remarked, "Remember, you don't have to do anything you're not ready for. But I've got you covered if you have to defend yourself." They arrived right before the retreat started, and a huddle of cameras and production workers set up a makeshift red carpet as castmates greeted each other politely in pastel loungewear. Bambi and her fiancé were at her side. She nodded, appreciating his calm strength. The scene was courteous but taut, with Spice looking thoughtful under a floppy sun hat and Carly hiding behind big sunglasses. Jessica greeted everyone with a warm smile and her arms spread wide, saying, "I'm so glad you're all here." And the following morning, Yandy checked her phone before getting out of bed. The notifications glowed like a constellation of praise and criticism. And one popular blog headline read,